All right. Hi, sis.
How
We are
are you,
live.
sis?
Happy
That's
Saturday.
awesome. So, happy Saturday. How was your week?
How was my week? Um, it was full. It was
Uh,
full. It was
okay,
full
okay.
of me doing things to make other people happy. And so
I like
it was
that.
full. Yep, it was very full. So
I like
it was
that.
full. Okay. So I'm trying to let's see. I have it on both, but I want to mute it on my phone. So bear with me 1 minute. I'm a little mute it on my phone, but play it. So I'm trying to let's see. I have it on. I don't think I know how to do that, but I want to. I thought there would be a. Oh, you know what I could do? Phone. I'm going to turn it down and see. Okay, let me turn it down. Okay, you don't hear an echo right now, do you? Uh-oh. I don't see you anymore. Come back. Come back, sis. Greetings, everyone. This is Sistas for Nationhood, Sister Saleema, who will be right back, and Madi, aka your spirit lifter. Bear with us. I'm sure she's going to come back soon. We were doing so well, guys. We talked on here for a minute and everything. We were doing so well. I don't know what happened. Bear with us. Bear with us. I'm just waiting for Sister Saleema to come back. Here we go. Comments. Peace. Okay. Okay, come back. I see you say you got kicked out. Come back, boo. Peace, NDR 1981. Thank you for joining us tonight. I look forward to hearing my sister's thoughts on the topic, which is vetting sisters for nationhood, and how that connects with femininity and the feminine principle. I have some thoughts. Peace, Hollip. I have some thoughts, but I'm just waiting for Sister Saleema to come back. Come back, sis. Something must have happened for her to have not joined us. I mean, to not be able to join, return. Something must have happened. Sis, if you can hear me, go completely out and come back in. Or, okay. Peace, underrated mind. I'm just waiting for Sister Saleema to come back. I don't know why you would have been kicked out. Oh, there you are.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay!
As soon as we went live, it like kicked me out. I could hear everything that you were saying on YouTube, but I was gone.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's start over. You go. You're on.
Okay. So we had an awesome conversation. I wish we had recorded our conversation on Thursday because that was an amazing conversation.
Right, it was.
My first thought when I heard the title was, what is it to be feminine? You know, because we want this nation where it's a productive nation, and the only way that we're going to be productive is if we work together. And in our current state, we don't know how to interact with our male counterparts.
Yes.
And I think that that's a learned way of being. We were taught that our men were no good, and we accepted that. And it's a fight for us to talk to other sisters and tell them that is absolutely not true, you know. So I have so many men in my life that are amazing men that will lay down their lives for me, they've never done anything to me negative that I would say all Black men are these horrible ogres and beasts. I've never experienced that. I've experienced, Black men who have done negative things to me, but I am wise enough to know that that's not every Black man.
Right.
So that's something that we have to unlearn. It's not everybody. Every Black male is not against us. I think that we have to take hard looks at ourselves and say, why is it every Black man that you come in contact with is prone to do negative or bad things to you? We got to take our own personal responsibility in the type of people that we are associating ourselves with as adults. Because if it's a situation where something was done to you as a child in your family, or just the people that you were around as a child, as an adult, you need to make those choices to not be around those people. But again, we have to make sure we're doing a lot of self-reflection. We have to make sure if we need therapy, get therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. To be a whole person, to let go of all that negativity, because negativity kills people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That was my first, and to be feminine is such an amazing thing. You'll never experience something so natural to us and so pure.
Right.
I remember when I used to work security in New York, and all of the guys used to say to me, how is it that you never get into any arguments or fights while you're working? It's because I know how to speak to men. I know how to ease them, even if they're in a situation where they're upset. If you use that feminine power in you to bring that brother back down. Hey, brother, it's okay. Talk to me. I'm here for you. So did that make me weak, or did that make me strong to be able to control the situation? Because if you are controlling the situation, that is a form of strength. So those are the things that we have to reiterate to sisters who feel like being feminine, or meek, or not so high strung and loud and boisterous, as negative attributes, as opposed to it being something so amazing. We don't understand the power that we have. We don't. And I'm not, and when I say power, I'm not saying power over them, but just personal power. Because then you get the men that's like, oh, they want power over us, but that's not what it is. That's not what, because we got to stop looking at it from a negative standpoint. For me to have power, that means that that's my own personal power. And let's use your power and my power together, and let's be powerful.
Absolutely.
And I want us to talk about how we need to connect to one another, and how we need to be there for one another, and the things that we need to do to build this nation. If we connect together and we use our powers, our energies together, build up some nice synergy together, we can do anything. You know, that's the and then I wanted to say what the last part was, what's the difference between being feminine and being a feminist? And I also think that that word feminist is used in an incorrect way. A lot of the words that people tend to use now, they're using them incorrectly. They created their own definitions for them. But I think it's important for us to use the actual definition of the words that we are using, so that everybody is on the same playing field, so everybody knows what we're talking about. At this point, because of the way that the word feminist is being used, I absolutely will not allow anyone to call me a feminist. I don't want to be associated with that group of people, because they tend to look down upon the Black man. They tend to vilify him. And I'm not going to associate with anybody who vilifies my brothers. So that's my standpoint on that. But the difference between the way that it's used today, being feminine, that's what I explained earlier, using your feminine power is not to control, it's not to overpower, it's not to do anything negative. Being feminine is using that power so that you both prosper in that action. If you're using it for any other reason, then you're using your feminine power in the wrong way. So we have to make sure that we are doing everything in a very succinct way. You know, brother, I'm a powerful sister. I really am. And I need a powerful brother to stand beside me to do what I need to do. Whether it just be in building nationhood, in a personal relationship, business, whatever it is, you are needed. So a person that is living in her feminine truth, she can say all of that and not feel any type of way. I've never felt like I was being belittled while being feminine, while I was around a man that wanted me to be just the authentic person that I am. So that's the first thing. Being a feminine person, a feminine woman, a sister that can live in her feminine beauty and thrive in it.
Agreed.
What did you have?
Well, before we do that, did you see Underrated Minds question? You want to tackle that?
Sure. Underrated said, what would be the first step for the sisters? Example, would the sisters first need to elaborate her environment, happiness, state of mind, etc. See, this is the thing that we want to do. In vetting, we want the sisters are going to have a system set up, because we tend to have to like order. We tend to like order, so we're going to have a system set up. I believe in having specific, like every sister who comes through our departments, whoever is coming in the vetting process, there's going to be a specific set of things that this sister has to go through. I'm trying not to use the words testing or I'm not trying to use those words, but along those lines, because we want to have a specific type of people. Because I personally don't want to live amongst people who don't have any drive. If they don't know where they're going, if they can't provide some type of positive force I don't want anything to do with them. And that's just, and I could be wrong. Y'all might not want to put me on that committee because I might be kicking people out. Y'all be like, no, she a good sister. And I'm like, well, I tend to be kind of harder on the sisters, to be honest with you, because we are the nurturers, and we are the people who keep things going, so how can you have a disjointed group of sisters trying to build a nation? We're not saying that we want to be on the PTA. We want to build a nation. It takes a special type of person to even tackle that task, to even wrap their mind around what we are trying to do. This is not just the social group. So those sisters have to be a special type of sister, so we're going to ask those questions. We're going to make sure that she's in her right headspace, because I don't want anybody trying to come in and cause dissension in this group, because then we're going to have a problem. You and our sister are going to have a problem. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I'm reading that now. I really do think that they have to be set. I'm not saying I want the same type of person. Everyone needs to be the same, but we have to have the same ideals. We have to have the same moral code. We have to think. If I don't want a sister coming in and she is absolutely negative when it comes to brothers. Everything that she says is negative, and everybody has their own mind. And this sister might even have that negative thought process, and then she gets around us, and we'll tell her how we feel, and we may be able to change her mind. But is my goal to change anybody's mind? Absolutely not. Because I don't want them just doing it so that they can be amongst us. I need that to be something that's genuine in them, that they want to change, that thought process. But that all comes in learning, because like I said, that's a learned act. This person's entire life, they learned that Black men were no good for them. Absolutely, it will. Accountability is going to be huge. I talk about accountability a lot, because if we're not taking personal accountability for the situations that we are in, that we put ourselves in, because that's what accountability is. The situation that you put yourself in, and either it turned negative or it turned positive. And you have to be able to say, I was part of what caused this to go left. And am I willing to change that part of me so that it will go in the right direction? So absolutely. And that's another part of the vetting process, where we're saying Sista has to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Sista has to be willing to start a business. Not everybody is going to have to start a business. I'm just using that as a, as something that we might have sisters doing, starting businesses, running the schools, whatever things that we need, and I don't want sisters that are like, I'm not doing this. This is something that women do. And we don't need all of that, because our main focus is going to be on building a nation. And if we're worrying about sisters not wanting to do what sisters do, we got a problem.
Absolutely.
So there's no reason for us to even bring this sister, if she's so, she's so bent on that, I'm not doing this because that's what the men tell us to do. If that is her outlook on what's happened, that's not going to work for us. That's not going to work. We, as female, as sisters, as women, we have a certain role but brothers have certain roles that they have to carry out, you know. Not to say that we can't defend ourselves, but I want the brothers to defend us. I do. I don't want to have to fight nobody. Brothers, can y'all please defend me? You know? But then you're going to have sisters that want to be out there trying to defend us, and that's fine. That's all well and good. But if you are leaving the children unprotected to go and fight with the men, how is that helping us? Because you just allow somebody to attack our future. You know? So
absolutely.
I just think that if we're not on the same page as a group, then it's going to cause dissension. It's going to cause internal conflict and things of that nature, and that's not what we want. I don't understand that either. I don't understand women that don't want to cook for their husbands and their children. Who else is supposed to do it? I agree 100%. You know, and it doesn't mean that men can't cook. I know a lot of men that can cook. Hollop is an amazing cook, but I don't think he's ever cooked for me. Ever in 30 years. But I know I've cooked for him many, many times. You know, so, but does that make me less of a woman? Does that mean that I'm not worthy of being called a woman because I'm okay with cooking and cleaning and ironing and doing those things? No. I'm okay with being a feminine woman. I'm okay with being soft and sweet and meek and you know, all those things. I'm okay with that. So I need brother to be strong and you know, and do the things that brothers do. I don't want to take out the trash. Sorry. I don't want to do it. I don't. So right now and I hate that other phrase, the strong black woman. You know? Sure we're strong, sure we're black, but I don't call me that. Do not. I think it's disrespectful. Because where it comes from, first of all, most times when people were saying it, they're saying it in a negative way. So don't call me a strong black woman.
It's actually used as an insult 9 times out of 10.
It is. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, let me share a couple of things. In the words of Angela Davis, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. I'm going to repeat that. Okay. Hi, Latasha. I am no longer, Angela Davis says, and I agree, I am no longer accepting the things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I cannot accept. For those who may have just joined us, greetings. Greetings, you beautiful, phenomenal beings. This is Madi, aka SpiritLifters, the co-host of Sisters for Nationhood, here with my beautiful and brilliant sister Saleema, the host. I want to talk about the vetting process, and then I'm going to talk about femininity a little bit. Now, before I talk about that, if anyone wants to call in, let the truth say amen. If anyone wants to call in, please email me at SpiritLifters67@gmail.com. If you want to call in and share your thoughts, even before I share mine, please email me at SpiritLifters67@gmail.com, and put it in the comments that you're going to email me, and I'll check. And of course, if there's anything here that resonates with you as we continue this important chat, please like, subscribe, and share. This conversation is important for our young people in particular to hear. So, and of course, also, most importantly, it says here on the banner, please join the BIO. If you're unfamiliar with the BIO, please come and check us out. So, regarding vetting, Sister Saleema, I think you will agree with me in that Sisters for Nationhood is a sacred space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in that, it is a space to, yes, thank you, Underrated Minds. Thank you, Underrated Mind. It is a space to use your third eye, to operate from your highest vibration, your super conscious mind. I think that Sister Saleema and I, we work on that. We are not perfect, of course, but we really work on operating from a higher vibrational sense of self, utilizing that third eye, our intuition, that internal GPS. That's very African of us. That's that black magic that I like to talk, that I refer to often. I'm not saying that other people don't have it, other people of color. I mean, other people may, in this world don't have intuition, but I know for us as Africans, that's what got us through and to. So when it comes to vetting, we're looking for people that hold that like-minded way of thinking, using your third eye, operating from a super consciousness, following your internal GPS, letting spirit be your guide. We're looking for that. That's one. The other thing is that I had a thought as I was thinking about this upcoming thought. I was thinking of the lines, "I can't stand the rain or get out of the line of fire." And I thought about that because I know, we're pretty calm on these lives right now, but I know that Sister Saleema and I, we come with a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of fire, a lot of passion, because we love our people, and love is the highest vibratory energy in the universe is gratitude. I believe the second one is love.
It's explosive.
It's explosive. So sisters might connect with us, and upon greeting that energy, that fire, that commitment to the love for our people, Saleema, you mentioned last week and this week about your love for our brothers, and that's real for you. Sisters that may not want to operate from a high, may not be cognizant of the need or even aware, because you don't know what you don't know. So they may not even be aware of what that means, operating from a sense of, your third eye. What does that mean, utilizing your third eye? What does it mean, following your internal GPS, letting spirit be your guide? What does that mean? Yes, we're here to mentor, but at the same time, like you said, this is not a game. So it's very possible that these women might fade into the background themselves, because when it's easy to talk the talk, but in my 30 years of dealing with my brothers and my sisters, I know that it's easy to talk the talk, but when it's time to walk the walk, the numbers dwindle in terms of who is who is really going to move with us. So some people might fade into the background and we might not even have to do too much work in terms of vetting. To your point a few minutes ago, anyone that is a part of this chat or this is subsequent meetings, because we will have to have meetings with our sisters, gatherings that carry, and you use the word dissension. That's exactly the word that I planned on using. Anybody who carries that spirit of dissension, which I equate to low vibrational energy, pettiness, cattiness, that unfortunately us women are, you know, are known for, unfortunately, we will lovingly ask them to leave. Am I right?
Absolutely. You will lovingly ask them to leave. I don't know if it will be lovingly coming from Saleema.
Right. So,
Saleema don't have much tolerance for foolishness,
okay. So
so
I
we're
will
gonna let you
lovingly
do
ask
that.
them to leave, but, or we will just exclude them from our sacred space with ease and grace.
And grace,
Yeah, we will
absolutely.
excuse them with ease and grace. And then my fourth thought is that we don't need to agree on everything. No, we don't. We don't need to agree on everything because it is beautiful to have opposing views and to have intellectual exchanges about our thought processes. It is beautiful to it is beautiful to agree to disagree in love. However, the mission, the core values, and the intentions are everything. So if we don't share those core values, which is what you were just talking about, we cannot complete the mission if we are working with people that don't share the core values, integrity being one of them. And not completing the mission is not an option. Not
Absolutely.
completing the mission is not an option. So if you're not of like minds, if you have a spirit of dissension, if you don't have the core values, then yeah, and that is something that you pick up. We are spirited people, so you cannot discount when you first meet someone and your spirit is like, whoa. I've had experiences in my life where I did not listen to that. I've met people and my spirit was like, whoa, something just didn't feel right. Anytime something doesn't feel right, it is not right. Period. Anytime there's
And
doubt,
walk away from it.
walk away from it. And that rule applies here. So that's my piece on the vetting. Any thoughts on that?
We had a comment that said everyone should be vetted, not just sisters. Oh, absolutely. This is just the sisters who are talking right now, and the question was asked of us on our last live: what would our vetting process be in regards to sisters? So that's why we're having this particular live, because the question was asked. We're not just saying that the brothers are going to just run amok and invite anybody in. This is just for the sisters. So we're just here because the question was asked, and we wanted to make sure that we have a clear and concise avenue as to how we are going to allow sisters in, and maybe we'll have another live on how we will let them out if they need to be let out.
Absolutely. Peace to the Jughead one. Peace. So now I'll offer my thoughts on femininity and the feminine principle. And this is a topic that I love.
I can't wait.
And let me just say this, which is something I said to you when we talked after the live last week. We understand that there are people born with female, as born female, that do not embrace feminine energy. We're talking to those who do. We have nothing against those that do not. But one thing I think I understand from those that do not, they too have an appreciation for those that embrace feminine energy and the feminine principle. So that being said, the dictionary says to be feminine is to be gentle, girlish, graceful, ladylike. I love all these words: modest, soft, tender, womanly. And I will add embracing of her beauty and her sensuality. And as African women, we are either overly sexualized or not embraced for our beauty, our chocolate skin, our full nose, our beautiful full lips, our forehead, our hair texture. I love it. I love my skin. I love my features. And that's something, because I actually was born into those that were responsible for me actually told me to suck in my lip. I got a sassy lip. My family calls it a sassy lip because it sits up a bit. And as a young person, I was encouraged by family members who were colorists, to lighter than me, to suck in my lips. and I don't know, I didn't even know until I was 14 that society chose lighter skin over dark skin. And I'm digressing a little bit. I'm going to come back. Because even though my parents, one in particular, told me to suck in my lip and did not have an appreciation for their own beautiful features, there was something in me that liked myself. And I had cousins, and maybe that contributed to it. I had cousins who told me at a young age how beautiful I was at a young age. And so perhaps that did it. But the point is that the feminine principle, or the femininity, is embracing your beauty and your sensuality. Sensuality. So what is the feminine principle? The feminine principle encompasses all I just said about, that dictionary defined word feminine, to be feminine. The feminine principle equates to power. She embraces her gentleness. She works to hold onto it even in the midst of chaos. And that's a reminder to me, myself. She adorns herself in attire that reminds her that she is woman, that she is
Say
soft
that
and
again.
tender.
No, say that part again.
She adorns herself in attire that reminds her that she is woman, that she is soft and tender. The feminine principle is comprised of subtle energy. Subtle. She embraces her sacred womanness, again in style from head to toe. She embraces her sacred womanness in how she cleanses her body, what she puts in it: fruits to cleanse, vegetables, greens to heal, herbs to heal. What she puts on it: body butters by Connie's Creations. Check out Saleema. She sent me some amazing samples. She embraces her feminine energy in terms of what she puts on her body. She works with her third eye, her super conscious wisdom, intuition, internal GPS, the God Spirit guide. And she doesn't have to brag about it. She doesn't have to talk about it. She just lives it. She doesn't have to share, oh, I'm so intuitive, I'm so spiritual. No, you'll see it. You'll know it when you listen to her. When she enters the room, you'll feel it. She protects her family with prayers and affirmations. understanding that her words hold power, that whatever follows those two words, I am, follows her. Example, I am walking wisdom. I am divinely protected. I am open and available to all the goodness and abundance this universe has to offer me. She understands that her words are powerful, and she protects her family with those words. She provides for her family by overseeing the sustenance that they need for their mind, for their bodies, and their soul, for their mind, their body, their minds, bodies, and souls. She oversees the sustenance. That's where the cooking comes in. She connects with Mother Nature's tools, such as crystals, to enhance her beauty, but also as a form of connecting to all creations. She understands that she is one of the connecting forces in nature. That's deep. She respects her masculine energy in her home and outside of her home. And that's what Sister Saleema was talking about in terms of when she talks to those brothers. She respects the masculine energy in her home, and she speaks gently at all times, knowing that doing so does not make her weak, as we talked about last week, or lesser than, but it makes her a contributing partner to the important unit of family. Nationhood and nation state, family is a big deal to build a nation state. She knows, and this is one of my favorites, and this is one that I have to remind myself of. She knows that poise equals power. She knows that poise equals power. And in order to control any situation, she must first control herself. When feeling out of control, she knows to remove herself from that situation with style and grace. I love it. She chooses her mate well, or she allows herself to be chosen well by a man who walks in his manhood with integrity, class, and dignity, understanding his role as protector and provider. She is committed to her role as woman warrior and knows when to lay her sword down so that she can rejuvenate, so that she can give from an overflowing cup, because the Black woman's anthem seems to be, and I am a witness, the Black woman's anthem seems to be to give from a half empty cup. No more. No more, sisters. We got to fill our cup. Fill our cup first and make sure it's overflowing before we give to others. Period. She understands that her life is a prayer. And lastly, she exemplifies love. Love shown first to herself, because she knows that she is important. Love shown to her family and her family of friends, while keeping the boundaries in place necessary so that she can comfortably do all that I have shared here. So that's my personal definition, understanding of what the feminine principle encompasses.
Bravo. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, that was it in a nutshell. You know, we need to realize that there's so much power in being feminine. You know, I don't know where or how it got flipped to where we are we're any less worthy of anyone else by being feminine, or that we are less powerful or less anything.
I think we're just confused. You know,
Yeah.
I think that, like Holop always says, we're trying to do things in a place that doesn't want us here,
Yeah.
only wants us to use us, use our resources, use our brilliance, steal from us, you name it. But
Mm-hmm.
where I call it the upside down tree of life,
Yeah.
and so we're trying, because when you're born with an innate desire to love and an innate desire to be loved. You're born with an innate desire to fulfill something. There's a fulfillment. You may not even be cognizant exactly of what it is, but you're searching for something. Your spirit, there's something in your spirit that wants you to fulfill, to achieve. And so
Absolutely.
as women, we're trying to fit. We're trying, and then if you're a single woman, some of us have children for men that didn't love us. So we're dealing with with heartache and pain, but we don't have time to deal with the heartache of pain. We're dealing with the heartache of pain of just being Black in America, being a Black
Mm-hmm.
woman in America. So there's a lot of confusing energy. We're trying to make money, make as much as our male counterparts, because we're doing so much, as our male counterparts in terms of the home. So um I think that there's just confusion in terms of how to be. Some of us have no guidance. Some of us were born, but our parents don't give us any guidance, any tools. So we are scattered seeds in the wind, trying to figure it out. And that's why, as much as, when I'm being low vibrational, I have no patience, right? I have no patience for foolishness. I have no patience for people that are rude. If I hold the door for you, you better say thank you, and I'm gonna tell you something if you don't, you know. But so on one hand, I don't have any patience, but when I'm here and I'm dealing from my utilizing my third eye and dealing, from a spiritual perspective, I'm like, we're effed up because we are confused. We're trying
Yeah.
to figure this out. We got the world, you know, telling us to be one way, and we got the what's inside of us. We're trying to understand what's going on inside of us as Africans living in America. Even those that don't claim to be African, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's so funny how when people tell me I'm not from Africa, my parents are from South Carolina, but I'm looking at them, and a lot of the things that they are, practices that I carry on as an African living in America. A lot of spiritual
Mm-hmm.
practices were passed down to them, and they're doing it, but they don't even know that it's African. You know what I'm saying? So we're dealing with people that don't even know that they are African, but as Africans, they have things going through their veins and their DNA. We have ancestral memory. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
All these things we're trying to. So I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to our femininity, when it comes to the feminine principle, I want to have patience, particularly, and that's why mentoring the young, the youth is so important to me, because I want to be a beacon of light for the youth in terms of just how helping them to navigate the confusion based on being an African living in America, operating in the upside down tree of life.
Yeah. And I call it bizarro world.
Yeah.
um a lot of the things that we tend to gravitate towards, we don't even know why we're doing it. That's that ancestral
Yep.
memory that you're talking about.
Yep.
um where you find yourself in a situation and you'll just look around after some time and you're like, how did I get here? you
Yeah.
know and we
Mm.
need to pay attention to those things. Anything that is happening to me that I can't pinpoint why it's happening, I'm just the type of person that I can just hone in on that and figure out what it is. If I
Yeah.
can't figure out what it is, then I'm like, okay, we gotta find out what's going on here. You know, we have things in us that we don't know where they come from. Like you said, we don't understand ourselves. So how are we supposed to understand that, my brother loves me, and that's what he and I'm sorry, I want a man of my brothers to be strong and to be, powerful. And a lot of men don't know how to tone that down when they are talking to a woman.
Yeah,
So it comes off exactly, and it's on both ends. We're not saying that everything is on a sister. That's not what we're saying. That just popped in my head because I think somebody is thinking that we're thinking that everything sits on the shoulders of the sisters. No, but we don't. The reason that we're not speaking on the brothers is because we're not brothers. The brothers are going to get together and have those conversations. That's not our place. We're saying that we have specific roles. Our roles is not to, and that's another thing that we get caught up in. Well, what about what the brothers doing? What are the that's not our place. The brothers got that. Right. They gonna deal with that because that's not our place. We don't know what they talk about. We don't know what conversations they're having, what their vetting process is, and maybe the brothers will have a live stream in regards to that. But right now we're talking about the sisters. Because how can we be right if we so we worried about what the brothers are doing? Let's worry about ourselves, sisters. Right. Let's make sure we good before we go worrying about what somebody else is doing, and that's another part of that self-accountability. That's basically what all of this is us holding us accountable for what we are doing and what we should be doing, what we need to be doing, and what we're doing wrong. Because adults can look at themselves and say, I'm doing X, Y, and Z wrong, and correct it. Not just say that's how I am, but correct it. So it's all about the sisters coming together and being open-minded enough to say, wow, she was just talking about me. So do you want people to talk about you in a negative way? And not that they're talking about you specifically, but that what we were having that conversation on, you felt that was something that you have inside of you. What is hyperfemininity? I've never even heard hyperfemininity before, to be completely honest. Do you know what hyperfemininity is, Mari?
I'm wondering if that's connected to sensual versus sexual.
Darius, can you explain what you mean by hyperfemininity? Because I've honestly never heard of hyperfemininity. I've never heard of the hyper. I've heard of the toxic masculinity. I've never heard of the hyper. Okay. So when Darius answers that, we will respond to that. But I've never heard of it.
I'm inclined to see is that, I mean, I could only think when I think of hyper, and putting the words together, I think hyperfemininity, I wonder if that's a nice way of him saying, I wonder if that's a nice way.
Overly sexualized?
Yeah, of him saying overly sexualized. Let me look at the question again.
Can you explain the difference between appropriate femininity and hyperfemininity? Similar to the difference between appropriate masculinity and hypermasculinity. I've never heard of those terms before, so I honestly wouldn't be able to give any feedback on it without an actual definition of it. Like I said, there's so many.
Oh, see,
okay. See, yeah, okay.
So it is that.
What it is that? Okay, thank you, CEO. So the thing of it is, the reason, if you listen to when Mari was doing when she was giving her views on it, I asked her to repeat when she said what you wear. That I asked that for a reason.
I know
because
you do.
to be to be over sexualized, because of my body type, I don't really wear anything low cut. I don't really wear anything form fitting, because you can see what my body type is. And that was me since I was a child. So there's absolutely no reason for me to over sexualize myself, because my body does that for me. You know, in the culture and the society that we live in. So a lot of women who dress overly sexy, or who have to extenuate those parts of their bodies, is because they don't feel comfortable with themselves. Some do it because they have it and they want to flaunt it. You know, it all depends on the reason that person is doing it. You know, some people take on the persona of, well, that's my body, you can see it, I'll just wear what I want to wear. I come from the train of thought of less is more. You don't have to be completely out there in order for someone to find you attractive. The reason that the reason, I mean, probably because I was brought up Muslim, and I've seen sisters covered from head to toe. The only thing you could see is their eyes. But that sister got a husband. So something underneath all them clothing, you know, attracted this man to her and enough to marry her, you know? So all you could see on Muslim women are their eyes. But if you look at their eyes, I've seen some of the sisters in Dubai, and I'm like, these are some bad sisters. Like, all you could see is their eyes and their shoes. The sisters in Dubai know how to do it. They wearing red bottoms and everything. And I saw an interview with one of them, and she said the only thing that we can control that we wear are our shoes. So they go crazy with their shoes, and that's what brings the attention to these, you know, to the opposite sex, the young sisters. It's just their shoes, you know. So it just has to do with femininity is what you make of it. It's what you make of it, and some people don't have to do anything to be feminine and attractive, you know. So oh no, I don't think that it's self-defined, because we started out the live saying that a lot of times people are using words in the wrong context. So before I say that I'm going to answer a question and I don't understand the question, I'm going to make sure I know exactly what you're talking about. There was no shade in that. It's just the fact that they have all of these words: toxic masculinity, and what's the other one that they use all the time? Homophobia. Those words don't actually mean what they use them for, you know. So we have to define what we're talking about before we make a statement on what the question is. I need to know exactly what you mean. So that was the reason that I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what you were talking about. So Darius, when I mean hyperfemininity, I mean taking feminine characteristics like being submissive to mean dependent. I don't know. I've never, I've never heard of it before, and I've never encountered anyone that fits that particular There's no cap underrated. We're going to have a private conversation underrated. There's no cap. I'm just serious. I've never heard of it before. Monty, you?
No, but I mean, I think we have covered as much as we can on what our views are on vetting and what our views are on the feminine principles and femininity. I cannot say that I can really process his question right now, to be honest. And but maybe we'll pick it up next time we talk, and we can think about it and come back, love, and you know, if you're in agreement. We're at the hour mark, and I have to go.
Absolutely.
But I am very, very appreciative of you guys joining us. I'm appreciative of the question. I'm sorry that we're not able to go into it further right now. But again, I have to go. Yeah, I didn't think he was talking to us.
Okay. No, I was just messing with underrated. That's what I was doing. I was just harassing him because that's my
Yeah.
brother, and I could do that to
Yeah,
him.
no, I know,
But
you know, I totally
but
know.
we put in the comments other topics that you guys would like to hear from us, and
Yeah.
because that's what we're doing, actually pulling from your comments, and because that's what we know you want to hear to keep it interesting, and so that we are definitely giving you guys what you want. This was an amazing conversation, though.
It
I can
was.
say that.
And I agree with the person here who said we should submit our ideas about vetting, what vetting should look like. I would love for you to do that. Thank you, Brother Daoud.
Yes, that's my big brother right
We
there.
love you more. You want to read that?
The reason why I said femininity, because I think it's important that people understand there's a balance. It's similar to masculinity. Masculinity is great, but taken to the extreme is toxic.
I agree with you totally. I agree with you.
Okay.
Totally. Just talk.
Okay.
Both of our
You
energies
know,
need to flow.
I don't, like I said, I'm gonna actually look into that because I've never heard the term before. And if I don't understand something, or I don't know much about it, I tend to research it, and we can maybe circle back to it. But yeah, thank you for teaching me something.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
How does sister
down for
become
teach.
a yeah.
Go ahead, sis.
No, I was just reading Dawood's question.
Yes, share, subscribe. We are here every Saturday at 7 p.m.
Yes, indeed.
Come listen to the conversation. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can do that as well. And I'm so excited that this is our second week and we're doing such a great time. We are having such a great time.
Yes.
And register to the BAIO website, BAIOAfrikstan.org. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. This has been great. Peace and blessings, beautiful, phenomenal beings. We'll see you next Saturday.
Absolutely.
Peace,
Hey,
Saleema.
CEO, thank you for that. Peace. You have a great one.
All right, you too.
All right.